Hello, hello. Welcome. Welcome to our call tonight. My name is Rachel Burden. I am an Emerald with Plexus, and I say that just means I like Plexus a lot, and I have shared Plexus with a lot of people. So I'm going to share a little bit of my story with you. I'm going to share a friend's story, and then I'm going to just talk a little bit about what it looks like to make income in Plexus, how you do it, what it means, what you do, all the things. So when I started Plexus, I started 11 and a half years ago. It is wild that it has been that long. And I could honestly talk forever and ever about what the products have done for me and my family. But since this call is not about that, I'm going to talk about what the income side of Plexus has done for me and my family. So when I got started, I was a stay-at-home mom of three kids. We lived in New Jersey, and I share that part because New Jersey is not a cheap place to live. My husband was a youth pastor. I share that because that is not a very high paying career. And I was a stay at home mom and we had three kids. And so, really, at that point in my life, I was doing everything I possibly could. I was praying desperately for a way to bring income in without having to leave my kids. So, I had worked full time for the first year of my oldest daughter's life and had decided that was not for me. And I told my husband, I don't care if we have to eat rice and beans every single day. I cannot do that. And while we did not eat rice and beans every single day, we maybe should have because our budget was very, very tight. So I was doing everything under the sun. I was an extreme couponer, like the woman who pays $3 for a cart full of toiletries and has a massive cabinet full of toiletries and canned goods and all sorts of things that I walked out of the store paying next to nothing for. I also taught classes on how to be an extreme couponer. I was working one day a week at a friend's preschool so I could take my kids with me. I was taking other people's kids and picking them up from school and taking them to their after school activities because my kids could then also be in the car. And honestly, it felt like a lot of effort and a lot of work for not a lot of return. And that's kind of where we were financially when I got started with Plexus. And I thought, if I could make enough money, somebody asked me, like, if you could make money with Plexus, like, what would that look like? And I don't remember what I told them. I'm pretty sure I didn't tell them the real answer. I don't know what I told them. But in my head, I was like, if I could make enough money to pay for my son's preschool so we didn't have to be on scholarship, I was like, that would be absolutely amazing. And I started taking the products. I did started noticing results, started sharing. And my very first paycheck was $387. And I remember obviously that made an impact because it's 11 and a half years later and I remember how much it was, right? But I remember telling myself, like, what if this is what we have been praying for? Like, what if this could be the answer to what I've really been wanting? And so, over the course of the next chunk of time, yes, I did begin to increase my income. I did begin to stretch my vision and my goals a little bit. And I will say I was not a like overnight success. I did not know what I was doing. I absolutely failed forward. And so that is the first thing I want to tell you is that as I share my story, as you hear Nicole's story and you hear a little bit about what this looks like, if you are inspired and you are like, okay, I am intrigued, I promise you the only way to fail is quit. There is a lot of it's a bit of a learning curve. There is a lot on the table and what you can earn in Plexus, but really, truly, all it takes is to be coachable, be willing to be bold. That's what a lot of us struggle with, and be willing to just try again. And so for me, yes, I made $387 on my first check, but it took me a while to hit my bigger goals. And so at that point, I was like, okay, if I could have Plexus be anything, what would that be? And for me, that was to be able to say yes for our family, to say yes to whatever we felt like God was calling us to without having to stress the finances. And I often pause at this point in my story and say that I'm never going to tell you to not listen to the Lord if your finances don't line up. It is always worth it to listen when you feel like the Lord is telling you to do something. For us, that has absolutely been an answer to prayer. And Plexus has been that. We now live in Bristol, Tennessee. My husband is a pastor. We now have four kids. And when we moved here, so I will say my husband is a senior pastor at a church. They are extremely generous and we are so grateful. But when we moved here, we didn't move for that position and that role. And so Plexus income really was what allowed us to say yes to that because we have four kids. We couldn't have lived on that income otherwise. And so that was a huge answer to prayer. And Plexus really was that in my life at the time. But I have to share what really was I can never not share this portion when I share about the Plexus business opportunity. Because for me, when I started Plexus, it was like a way to add extra, a way to bring a little bit more in. Honestly, it became more that I didn't expect as a mom who stayed home. It became something that I could pour myself into and add value to other people and have relationships and see return for my effort in a different way than you saw in diapers and laundry and toys, right? But at the time, I looked at it financially as like just a way to add extra. And about 3 years into my Plexus journey, my mom had a massive health crisis, and we were able to move 700 miles, move in with my parents. I was able to care for my mom and be all together right there with my kids, with her for the last 10, 11 months of her life. And again, I would not say not to do that if finances were a struggle, but because of my Plexus income, we were able for my husband not to have to get a job. And we were able to he was able to help with all the kid things. We had 4 kids in 4 different schools. And I was able to be in ICU and the rehab center and take my mom to appointments and be there and be really truly what she needed. And at that point, my Plexus income was about $50,000 a year. So I was not a millionaire, but it was what we needed to pay our bills and do what we needed to do for our family. And that's such a gift that I'm so grateful for, because while that season was very stressful, finances were not a part of that stress equation. And excuse me, I always like to say at this point of, most people don't start something like Plexus to be an alternate plan A. Most people start it as a way to add a little bit of income, breathe a little bit, pay for their products, but there's never the opportunity. I hope that your stress moment is not tragedy or trauma or loss, right? But we all have moments in life that what we thought was going to be our forever plan A is no longer our forever plan A. And when you have built something on the side for some side income, all of a sudden you have an opportunity that relieves that stress. And that's such a gift. So that is a little bit about my story. I could also share so many other things. I'll share, you know what? It is in the picture. You see all these up here and then a few over there on that shelf. Those are invites to trips. And I will say that is something that, being a ministry family, luxury vacations were not on our bingo card. And so for me to be able to I have taken my husband, I've taken my whole family, I've taken individual trips one-on-one with kids, and just gotten really special time together as a family on amazing luxury trips that Plexus has provided for us. And that is like a bonus gift. And so I just have to share that too, because that's fun. So I'm going to attempt to be techie and share my screen. So we are going to hear from Nicole. Nicole is, which you'll hear a little bit in a second, about how our structure works, but Nicole is someone on our team. So I share Plexus with a friend, and that friend shared Plexus with Nicole. She is actually at a basketball game tonight, and so with her kids, so she wasn't able to be on live, but I'm going to share a little clip of her story, and I'm going to attempt to be techie enough to do it. Okay, can you guys see that?
Hello, everybody. My name is Nicole, and I'm a Ruby ambassador with Plexus. I first heard about Plexus in 2018 from a parent in my kindergarten classroom, but I didn't start consistently using the products until 2021. Once I stopped convincing myself that I was too healthy to use them, I quickly noticed how important these were to my health and wellness. It was the missing link for me. And I believed so wholeheartedly in what these products could do for my family that I needed to tell the world about it. So I started to share. And once I started sharing, things kind of took off pretty quickly. My first goal was to get my products paid for. And once I accomplished that goal, I was like, I wonder if maybe I won't have to work this summer. As a teacher, I had spent my weekends working. I had spent my summers working for as long as I could remember. So I went to my husband and I asked, how much money did I need to make to be able to stay home for the summer? He gave me a number, and within 6 weeks, I had made double that. So I was able to stay home that summer. Also that summer, I got pregnant with our third baby. And from the second that I found out I was pregnant, I was like, I can't go back to work. Like, when I leave on maternity leave, I need to be done working. I want to be home with this baby. I want to be home with my kids. And I sit here right now, telling you that because of Plexus, I am home with my baby. I'm home with him. I get to have slow, intentional mornings with my family. I am the one that puts my kids on and off the bus. And this was something that I never thought was a possibility for me or for my family. So I have to keep sharing about this because this opportunity has truly saved my life, has changed our life in so many ways, has provided us with hope for the future that we've never had before. And I can't stop talking about it because I cannot imagine where I would be had my sponsor not shared this opportunity with me. My hope for you is that through Plexus, you find the hope that you're looking for and you find freedom from your health and financial struggles.
With hotels and vacation rentals, booking.
Okay. We're going to have to ignore that for a second. Okay. And now I'm lost. Can you guys still see my screen? Okay. Well. Okay. Am I back?
Yeah, we're back. You're back.
Okay. So sorry about that. I told you I was going to try really hard. So, life lesson, if I can do this, you can do this. So, I am going to share just a little bit about practically what it looks like to work a Plexus business with my air quotes, what it looks like, kind of what's required of you, what's not required of you. And the first thing I'm going to say is I'm not a compensation plan guru. We actually have an incredible video by someone who is a compensation plan guru that you can ask your friend who invited you to this call, or if you're watching the replay and you just had to watch Miss Piggy, sorry about that. But you can ask for that video. It is short and super informative. But I am just going to share a few things that make us unique. And make us a little bit different. So first of all, everything is online. And I want to say, like, Plexus takes care of everything. And you will remember this from when you purchase your products, if you are using the Plexus products already. And when you are ready to share, you literally create a cart from your own website and you send it to someone. They then open up that credit or open up that cart, check out, pay Plexus. Plexus sends them the products and then Plexus pays you. So it is literally paying you for your referral. You aren't having to collect money, deliver product. You guys, my team knows. And if I was responsible for mailing things, and we do lots of like fun giveaways and prizes, and when I am in charge of mailing a giveaway, it takes a really long time to get there because it sits in my house and then it sits in my car and it takes me forever to get to the post office. So if I was responsible for mailing product, I would probably not be so successful. But I'm so grateful that Plexus takes care of all of that. You're not required to carry inventory or host parties. You're not required to host in-person parties or even online parties. Anything you do is literally your choice. And that's what I love. We get out of this opportunity what we put in. So that means if you want to make a couple $100s a month, great, you can do that. If you want to get the cost of your products covered, if you want to make $300 this month, if you help three people using your referral link, you're going to make $300. If you're like, okay, that sounds great, but you mentioned $50,000 a while ago, and that would actually be really amazing. Or now, for the last 5.5 years, I have been at the six-figure mark, and that has been an incredible blessing for our family. So it really, truly is what you want. And there's no requirement of what you have to do in terms of the time output. You get to design your life around what you get to design your business and working time around your life. And so often in our culture, we design our life around our job. Like, oh, I have to work these hours, so everything else I need to fit in around that job, right? In Plexus, it's the opposite. You get to design your life and then fit Plexus in where you have those open pockets and open holes. So that is one of the things. I will tell you, Plexus is a very low pressure structure. So I am not paid based on, we are paid 7 levels deep. So that means like I tell my neighbor Sally and she tells her mom Susie and Susie tells her neighbor, right? And it goes on down. I'm paid 7 levels deep, right? But guess what? I am not paid any more. Let's say Sally tells Susie, who tells Joanne, right? I am not making any more money if Joanne buys one gut health system for herself every single month, or if she spends $10,000 every single month. I make the exact same. And what I love about that is it removes the pressure. So we are paid based on the number of people we help in a given month, not how much money each of them spend. And so I love that because it really enables us as Plexus ambassadors to help our people get the products that they need to see the results that they are looking for. Now, there are certain amounts amounts that are more ideal. And we talk about that and how to do that, but it's very easy to achieve and it is not expensive. So that is something that I love about Plexus is it takes away that pushy pressure. You have to buy this jumbo mumbo $10,000 pack, right? So I love that we are low pressure. I will also say, I lost my notes, scrolled ahead of me, but that is okay. I will also say that what I love about our compensation plan, and like I said, I'm not a guru. You can watch the compensation plan video, but one of the ways that we get paid is called Plexus points. And that's simply it's profit sharing, which basically just means that when the company does well, you do well. The more money the company makes in profit, the higher your monthly paycheck is. And you don't have to be some special rank to start that. You get that from the very first person that you help. And like I said, you can watch the compensation plan video. It is not confusing. She just does a better job explaining it than I do. But what that does, when we all get paid on profit sharing, what that does is it creates a culture that we like to call one plexus. And that means a lot of us work together. We share things. I'm looking at some of the names of the people on this call. And some of the people on this call work together and don't make one little cent off of each other. But we become a team of people that love to help other people succeed. And it is a great culture. And I love that. This compensation plan video that I keep mentioning, she's not on our team, but she made a great video and she shared it with the whole company so that people could benefit from her strength in that area. And I love that culture in Plexus, that it's not a competition, but we're all looking the phrase, what is that phrase? The rising tide raises all ships, right? So that's how it works with profit sharing and our one plexus culture. We have, and this brings me to the last thing that I want to share, we have multiple systems and opportunities of support on our team. This call is an example. If you were to tell your friend that you are interested in learning what it looks like to make a little bit of money in Plexus and they invited you to this call, they didn't have to know all the answers, right? I don't have to know all the answers to the compensation plan to share a video with you. But you got to be on this call, hear about what it looks like, hear my story, hear Nicole's story, hear a few things that make us different, get just a little sneak peek of what this business looks like, right? So this call is an example of that. We have another one on Thursday, and that's what I want to encourage you to plug into. We do often what we call messenger events, and all that is a chat on Messenger. It's like a group chat. I open it up. I'll probably open it up Thursday morning. I open it up, and at 9 p.m. Eastern on Thursday night, I do like a rapid fire info for 15 minutes, and I share this Thursday. I'm going to be sharing about our gut health system and our newest product, Creatine Plus, and a little bit about Plexus in general, but that's the focus for 15 minutes. And you can come and learn about our gut health system, about Creatine Plus, about what Plexus offers as a whole from a product perspective. And then you can be like, okay, yeah, I really am interested in trying Plexus. Or you can help your neighbor, Sally. Sally, hey, Sally, this pink drink you asked me about. Yes, I'm sleeping better. I'm feeling better. I went to the doctor, my thyroid numbers are down. I really think it could help you with your blood pressure that you were telling me you were struggling with. Do you want to come to this event on Thursday night and see if Plexus might be a fit for you? You invite Sally. Sally reads the info. So take note, you didn't have to know all the info, right? Sally comes to the event, she reads the info. She's like, "Yeah, I think I am interested in that." You send her a link, she orders, you make money. You repeat that twice. So you've helped 3 people in the month of January and you make $300 before the month is over. So that is a simple example of how it works, right? But that is one of the examples, two, if you count tonight's call, of what some of the systems in our team that you can plug into. We have examples of what to share online or what to share in person, how to go big or how to go small. So whatever it is that you are interested in, we have some examples of what that looks like and some systems to plug into to make this a doable opportunity for you to make the amount of money that you want to make and help the people around you see a difference. So yes, the income is huge, but I also want to tell you that the impact that you get to make, yes, through finances, because we all know that blessing others with finances does make a big impact, right? But through the impact of helping the people you love feel better, get off of prescriptions. Guys, I just had the most incredible testimony a couple weeks ago from a friend of mine. She was a new customer in November and she's had elevated liver enzymes for 20 years. And she has been on our Restore for 45 days at the point of her doctor's appointment, and her liver enzymes were down drastically and almost normal. And she was like, "This is incredible." When you hear stories like that, that fuels you and fires you up. At least it does me. And so be being able to make an impact like that is a gift. And so that's a little bit about what we do, a little bit about how to do it. I would encourage you, I meant to have the little graphic and I don't have it pulled up, but I would encourage you to ask the person who invited you to this call or sent you this recording for the compensation plan video. And then what does it look like for me to make X amount of dollars? My goal was $400 that very first month to pay for preschool. Ask them, like, hey, what would it look like for me to make X amount of dollars? We have a cute little chart that will tell you if you help 3 people this month, you're going to make $300. If you help, I think it goes up to 19 maybe or 17, and it's like $1,500. So, and that's just in January, and it's just an example of what it looks like when you help people get started. So thank you for letting me share with you. Sorry, I went a few minutes over 15, but thank you so much for hearing my story. And I would love to connect with you guys more if you have questions. And hopefully, I will see you on Thursday for our info event. Have a great night.